Good morning. I'm Dr. Manjapin Fatima. Today I'm taking microwave tubes. So starting from this, you can see in this diagram, these are the vacuum tubes, BJTs, MOSFETs, and now in the coming years, the work is going on spintronics, biosensors, and different type of displays. In this, you can see the vacuum tube originated from 1906, and the work is going on this 1950s. The conventional vacuum tubes was completely explored from 1906 to 1950s, and the research also done for different temperature also. With the increase in the time period, the temperature, the effect of the increase in temperature is also seen. So tubes, it worked on from 1906 to 1950s. Then BJT come in the picture from 1947, and lots of research goes on till 1980s. But before this, before the ending of this BJT, MOSFETs come during 1960, and until now, the lots of work is going on this, and the work is going on spintronics, biosensor, and different type of displays. In spintronics, the devices will be based on the spin of the electronics. Different devices will come on the basis of this. And biosensors, you already know about the biosensors, like it can sense the heartbeat, blood pressure, diabetes, etc. And different type of displays are in the process, like these displays. These displays are LED and LCD displays, and some more displays are in the process. So this much is about the evolution of the electronic devices. But if I want to use the BJT to amplify this the signal to kilowatt, so this is not possible to amplify the signal to kilowatt with the help of the BJT or with the help of the MOSFET. This is not possible. So if we give the very high power voltages to BJT and MOSFETs, then these will start dissipating lots of power and goes into the thermal runaway. That is, they may reach to the avalanche breakdown. So the amplification process will not be completed with the help of this BJT and MOSFET. So it is failed at kilowatt and megawatt. So we come back to the vacuum tubes. So there some changes are done in the vacuum tubes, and these tubes will be used as microwave tubes. So today's lecture is about the microwave tubes. I wrote down here all different types of microwave diodes. You can see a tunnel diode, gun diode, impact diode. These diodes can do the rectification at microwave signals, but this is not possible to do the rectification at very high power. Here the different microwave transistors are heterojunction transistor, MOSFET, HEMT, NMOS, PMOS, CMOS, charge coupled devices. Different type of amplifiers are written here, but all these amplifiers are working on 1 minute. So these transistors cannot be used at kilowatt and megawatt. So we move on the microwave tubes. These tubes give the power and amplification and the oscillation or generation of the microwave signals at kilowatt to megawatt. Magnetron generate the microwave signals at megawatt. So this is a classification of the microwave tubes, linear beam devices, cross-field devices. In the linear beam devices, there are two types, resonant cavity and slow wave structure type. So you can see the linear beam devices are of two types, resonant cavity and non-resonant cavity type, that is slow wave structure. In resonant cavity type, the interaction of the electron beam and the electromagnetic field, the interaction is very less. But in the slow wave structure, the interaction of electron beam with the microwave field, it is high as compared to the resonant cavity. So this is the difference between these two. Now the types of the resonant cavity are klystron amplifier and reflex klystron. The klystron amplifier, as the name is specifying, this is doing the amplification, and reflex klystron is an oscillator. Next one is a slow wave structure. The classification is forward wave, helix, traveling wave tube, coupled cavity, traveling wave tube. And next is backward wave amplifier and backward wave oscillator. There is one more type of microwave tubes, cross field devices. And this magnetron comes and cross field amplifiers. Magnetron is very important. It is used at radar, at microwave oven, and at different places, like for the satellite communication. Similarly, the reflex klystron is also used for the satellite communication, for radar, for UHF television transmission. So these microwave tubes are very important for the communication point of view. So I'm moving on. I am not taking conventional tubes since I've already taken conventional tubes in your class. So the klystron amplifier. These are the applications of klystron tube or microwave tubes: radar communication, satellite communication, electronic warfare, directed energy weaponry, material processing, waste remediation, ozone generation, and atmospheric purification of admixture like fronds that destroy the ozone layer. So this is the classification. Now I want to talk about the linear beam devices. Actually, in this, the electron beam is continuous and continuously interacted with the interaction region. The examples are klystron and traveling wave tube. In cross field devices, the electric and magnetic field are orthogonal, that is perpendicular to each other. Example is magnetron and cross field amplifier. The application of these two are in MTI radar, in pulse compression radar, the pulse Doppler radar, and number of radars. So the magnetron, this magnetron is used in microwave oven also and satellite communication also. So this crossfield device and linear beam devices both are very important. The conversion efficiency is output power divided by DC input power. So this is the conversion efficiency. You can say simple efficiency, and efficiency of these tubes are varying from 10% to 60%. Now come to the two cavity klystron. In this you can see the introduction of the two cavity klystron. Then we will take about the construction of the two cavity, and then about the two cavity amplification, then performance characteristics and application. So klystron is a vacuum tube that can be used either as a generator or as an amplifier or as an oscillator at microwave frequencies. So klystron is an amplifier. It can be used as an amplifier and as an oscillator also. So klystron is linear beam device that the electron beam flow in a straight line and focused by the axial magnetic field. The velocities of the electrons which are emitted from the cathode are modulated. So this modulation of velocity of electron is called velocity modulation, and it produces a density modulated electron beam. So you can see here the schematic diagram of the two cavity klystron. Yeah. This is the cathode, and the negative terminal of the battery is connected to the cathode, positive terminal of the battery is connected to the anode. This is the anode or the collector. Here this is the filament to heat up this cathode. This is the resonant cavity connected here. One more resonant cavity is connected. The first resonant cavity is called puncture cavity. The next resonant cavity is called catcher cavity. The electron beam moves from puncture cavity to catcher cavity. So this space is called drift space. Here the microwave input is fed to be amplified, and from here the microwave output is taken. From the catcher cavity output is taken, and at the puncture cavity input is given. So when this heater is heated, so filament get heat up, and the electrons start emitting from the cathode, and these are starting to move to the puncture cavity. So this microwave input which is present in the puncture cavity this will create the field. Like if I'm taking a very small signal, actually this input, microwave input, having amplitude, very small amplitude, which is required to be amplified. So here this is having very small input. I'm just taking an example of this. Actually this is the modulated waveform, and because of presence of velocity modulation of electron beam, the this microwave input is modulated, which is shown here. But I want to take only a simple small wave, one cycle of the wave, and I want to talk about this. If this is given here, like in this diagram, you can see in the applicate diagram, you can see here, this is the waveform. So in this waveform, you can see this is the actual microwave input signal, which is given to the Buncher cavity. So when there is no field, when the phase is zero of this microwave signal, and we are considering here the reference electron denoted by ER is emitted from the cathode and moving from the Buncher cavity. So the this electron don't change its velocity, which was earlier when electron emitted from the cathode. Now I'm considering there is early electron, it should be EE. The early electron which is phasing the positive field of this microwave signal. So these electrons will be accelerated and moving into the Buncher cavity. And there is one more electron I'm considering here, the late electron, it should be late, EL. L is subscript here. So late electron which is phasing the negative half cycle. So this electron will be retarded. The speed of this electron will be retarded, and because of this, the reference electron, late electron, and the early electron, these will be going to bunch up. That is accumulated. This accumulation of electron is called bunch. So the bunching take place, and this bunch of electrons start moving towards the catcher cavity, and this will give the energy to the radio frequency. So from here, the microwave signal, amplified microwave signal can be catched up or can be taken, and the electrons will be collected at the collector. So this is the complete working of the two cavity klystron. This diagram is called applicate diagrams. The meaning of this applicate diagram is the transition or the movement of the electron from Buncher cavity to catcher cavity. So with the help of this diagram, we can show this. The transition period, transition